All right, let's get right into it. We're about to challenge one of the biggest rules we're all taught. Work hard and you'll be rewarded. But what if that's not just a little bit wrong? What if it's actually a beautifully packaged lie designed to keep you running in place?
Here it is. This is the big idea we're going to unpack. The belief that grinding away for hours on end is somehow noble. Well, what if it's not a path to freedom? What if it's really just a tool for control? It keeps us all predictable, tired, and honestly, way too busy to ask the questions that really matter.
So you've really got two paths you can take. On one side, there's the worker. This is the person we're always told to admire, right? The one who sweats and toils. But then on the other side, you have the strategist. This person gets that real power isn't about how much effort you put in, but where you put it. It's all about precision. The real question is, who actually benefits when we're all taught to worship the worker?
And look, this isn't just some philosophical debate. This nonstop push for hard work has very real, very damaging consequences. Let's dig into two of the biggest ones. The kind of work that just crushes your spirit, and the kind that can literally break your body.
First up, let's talk about something called bullshit jobs. This term comes from an anthropologist, David Graeber. He said these are jobs that even the people doing them know deep down don't need to exist. And the psychological damage of having to pretend your work matters when you know it doesn't, it's huge. It's the total opposite of that sense of purpose we're told work is supposed to give us.
So Graeber actually breaks these jobs down into 5 main types. You've got flunkies, who are basically just there to make a boss feel important. Then there are goons, think corporate lobbyists or aggressive telemarketers. Duct tapers spend their whole day patching up problems that should have been solved properly ages ago. Box tickers just fill out paperwork to create this illusion that something useful is happening. And finally, taskmasters, who just invent pointless work for other people to do. Sound familiar at all?
And you might think this is a pretty niche issue, but it's not. A jaw-dropping 40% of workers say they feel like their jobs are basically useless. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. Almost half the workforce is spending the best hours of their day, their one life, on stuff they believe contributes absolutely nothing. That's just a tragic waste of human potential.
But it gets even darker. What happens when the work isn't just pointless, but it's also endless? Well, that leads us to a terrifying phenomenon. In Japan, they have a specific word for it, karoshi. It literally means overwork death. This is when the stress and the insane hours of a job lead directly to a person having a fatal heart attack, a stroke, or even taking their own life.
And just to be clear, this is not an exaggeration. This is real. There was a documented case of a 34-year-old man who worked at a snack food company. He was working 110 hours a week. That is basically like working almost 5 full days without any sleep. He died of a massive heart attack, and his death was officially classified as karoshi. This is the horrifying logical endpoint of hustle culture.
Okay, so the human cost is catastrophic. But there's got to be a payoff, right? All those extra hours, they must create incredible results and innovation. That's the deal, isn't it? Well, let's take a look at the actual data and completely shatter that myth.
It's really the simplest question in the world, but it's the one we're sort of trained not to ask. Is all this overtime, all this burnout, is it actually making us any better at what we do? And the data, well, the data just speaks for itself. Research is crystal clear on this. Once you cross the 50-hour-a-week mark, your productivity doesn't just slow down, it takes a nosedive. And then look at what happens when you hit 55 hours or more. It completely collapses. You get so little done, you might as well have not even been at work at all. You just make more mistakes.
The truth is, productivity was never a marathon. It's not about endurance. It's the result of being focused, creative, and healthy. To do good work, you have to rest. It's not a luxury, it's not a weakness, it's a non-negotiable part of the process.
Okay, so if working more is less productive and can literally kill you, why on earth are we all so obsessed with it? This is where we have to dig into the cultural programming into something we can call the laziness lie. And what might surprise you is that people have been warning us about this for centuries.
This isn't some new idea. Way back in 1881, the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche literally called the worship of work a police tactic, designed to stop people from thinking for themselves. Just 2 years later, you had Paul Lafargue arguing for the right to be lazy. And then in 1932, Bertrand Russell pointed out how insane it is that as technology gets better, we all just seem to work more.
And all of that history brings us to this modern belief system, the laziness lie. It's this voice in the back of our heads that says your personal worth is tied directly to how productive you are. It's what tells you that working hard is a moral good, relaxing is a moral failing, and if you aren't busy, you're doing something wrong.
So here's the big mental shift we have to make. That feeling we've been taught to call laziness, it's not a character flaw. It's a signal. Think of it like your body's check engine light. It's a primal, powerful instinct for self-preservation, screaming at you that you've gone past your limit and you desperately need to recover.
So, if the old playbook of just working harder and harder is broken, what's the alternative? Well, we go back to that other path, the path of the strategist. This is the new playbook for a world that's finally waking up from the cult of hustle. It's all about choosing leverage over labor.
And this analogy just perfectly sums it all up. The gladiator's hard work is obvious, right? It's dramatic, everyone cheers for it. But it's also completely disposable. The real power isn't down in the arena, it's up on the throne. The emperor controls everything, not through his own effort, but through his position, through his judgment, through leverage.
So what does the strategist's playbook actually look like? It means choosing precision over volume. Spending 1 hour thinking to find the perfect move is way better than 10 hours of just frantic, busy work. It means you work for a better position, not just for applause. You look for roles that give you more freedom and more leverage. And it means understanding that real power isn't given out as a reward for effort. It's taken through strategy and insight.
You know, in a world where everyone is broadcasting their grind 24/7, where it's all about performative work, the most powerful thing you can do is often to be silent. The person who's predictable is controllable, but the person whose next move is a mystery, they hold all the cards. And that's not some innate talent you're born with. It's a choice.
So we end where we started, but with this question. Let's go back to that 40%. Just imagine for a second the creativity, the art, the scientific discoveries, the communities that could be built, all the things we're losing right now by trapping millions of people in jobs they themselves know are pointless. What could all that human energy achieve if it were finally set free? What could you achieve?